is up, Bucs fans?
I'm
The
fucking
loose
stoked.
cannons are back. Finally, I made sure that Stanker was chained Black Snake Moan style at one of my homes for the last 3 days. This show was going to happen tonight, no matter what. You guys know who I am, the humblest of all humble people, and of course we got Poppy Latte, my brown brother, and Stanker. No big deal there. And we're joined tonight by a special guest, probably the only human being who willingly sat through every single Baker Mayfield NFL play. JC, what's up, man? Welcome to Loose Cannons. This is your cherry popping moment as it relates to our show. How you doing, man?
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to be with you guys. I'm a big fan, watch you guys all the time, but it's an honor to actually be on the show. This is crazy. I wasn't sure if you let, nerdy guys like me on the show, but then I realized Stank was there, so
Bars
it
really
works out.
low. After
Bars
latte
really
myself,
low.
after latte myself, the bar is really really low. I mean, it's low enough that Carolina Panthers quarterback should be able to limbo underneath it. So that's pretty
Well,
far
you,
down.
you guys probably don't know this, but Stank and I go way back. We go back to the old St. Pete Times message boards back in the 1990s.
Yes.
Real
Hey,
dark
I was
days.
on there too. I just don't brag about it like Stinker. I was on the Pewter Report and the fucking St. Pete shit, all that shit, the Red Board. Yeah.
It's because you
Were
had to
you?
lie
I
about
didn't
your
know that.
age, Latte, to get on there. Stanker was on there as a 45-year-old, on there just fucking leaving comments and whatnot. He's been
I was
he's
looking
the
for, I was looking for, little 10-year-olds to talk Bucks with. Should have hollered at me.
Oh,
JC, so you
Okay,
willingly
okay.
watched every single Baker Mayfield pass. I'd
I
love
did indeed.
a breakdown on that. What were your thoughts?
Well, wait.
So-
Tell it what.
I was gonna say, let's start at year one, JC. We'll break this down year by year.
All right.
What you saw.
Like it.
I know you're just a casual fan.
Yep.
Obviously, you're not gonna give us some X's and O's nonsense that we get from another player possibly, but
Yeah.
you're a fan. You are well versed. You do know football, as far as I'm concerned, at least. So give us kind of a breakdown. So we'll go year by year. Year one, rookie season, Baker Mayfield. Supposed to be the fucking answer finally to the Browns.
Big dick energy.
Yeah,
Number one
Yeah.
pick. Heisman Trophy. Just,
big time.
he
Well,
did that fucking ball sack grab that made him
Yeah.
a fucking gangster, bro.
Well, if you guys don't mind, I just want to clear something up for the Carolina Panther fans that have been all up in my mentions, saying that I was the whole point of this project was to try to justify that Baker Mayfield was going to be a great quarterback for the Bucs, and that's why I was doing this. That had nothing to do with it.
Shit.
Basically, the reason why I did this was because I know how fans are. And we did the same shit to Jameis when Jameis left. We heaped all of our bad shit on Jameis. It was all Jameis's fault. Fuck Jameis. Let him go to the Saints, right?
It wasn't?
Well, okay,
Okay,
maybe it
I'm
was.
kidding. I'm kidding. Go ahead, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
No, but and so I know that Browns fans did the same shit with Baker when he left the Browns, and they got the rapist guy, and then Carolina fans, they blame Baker for Matt Rule sucking ass. So it's like I knew that I had to watch Baker myself just to kind of get an idea of what kind of quarterback we were getting. Started with year one. Baker didn't start the season. They were starting, I believe, it was Tyrod Taylor, if I remember right. And he started about a game and a half before he started to really not do well. And then they finally threw Baker in there, and Baker rallied and led the Browns to a win over the Jets. And then they're like, well, fuck it, we're just going to go with Baker. The coach that they had at the time, I believe it was Hugh Jackson, I want to say. I think that was his name. Not a good coach. And his offensive coordinator was not very good either. They basically shit canned them about midway through. Baker was kind of struggling a little bit with their offense for some reason. They kept Nick Chubb on the sideline, right? Nick Chubb was every time they put Nick Chubb in, he would break it for 80 yards. But did they play him? No, that made too much fucking sense, right? So they had, Baker throwing to Jarvis Landry and a bunch of jabronis. And Odell wasn't there yet. And so he was struggling. He was struggling pretty bad. Their offense was about as predictable as Leftwich's. So, it wasn't a pretty show at all. Then they shit canned him and the offensive coordinator. Freddie Kitchens became the offensive coordinator. The defense coordinator took over as the head coach. And then Baker just took off, man, because Freddie Kitchens, as the offensive coordinator, he had balls and he would do all these crazy trick plays and roll Baker out and actually played Nick Chubb and it was very impressive game planning and Baker just excelled at it and they tore it up the second half of the season and I think they won like maybe five or six of their last seven, something crazy like that. So everybody was primed and ready for season two of Baker because he actually broke Peyton Manning's touchdown record, and he was awesome down the stretch, and he showed why they made him the number one overall pick. So there was definitely some things to really get excited about there.
So you
Did
would
you just say Kitchen had balls?
yeah.
He had major wibbles, man, major.
Because it
And
sounds a lot
but
like Coach Cojones.
Yes.
yeah,
I mean, that's his
we
name,
know
literally.
we don't know what kind of balls that guy has yet, bro.
Oh.
His last name is Cajon. Here
I
goes
mean-
PTSD again. Jesus,
Listen,
I'm-
ignore him, JC.
I got pussy in my room. Hold on, I gotta get rid of this pussy.
Cojones come in all shapes and all
Listen,
sizes.
Listen, JC, wait. I want to go back to you talking about Kitchens, basically. So, would you consider the offense that he ran to be conservative, or was it more or less like basically what BA ran? That was kind of, I think he's from the same coaching tree, if I'm correct.
yeah.
Him and BA. So he runs a style that's attacking down the field, high risk, high reward type of situation, and Baker excelled. Baker played well
Yeah.
in that scenario.
Yeah, Kitchens as the offensive coordinator, it wasn't no risk it, no biscuit. It was no risk it, fuck it. We're just gonna do it. And they would do flea flickers. They would do all kind. They would do. They had freaking Jarvis Landry throwing passes downfield. It was nuts the things that they were doing. And nobody could really figure out what Kitchens was going to call next. And it was actually pretty impressive. I don't know what the fuck happened to him when he finally got the big chair. I don't know if he got scared, because when he came back the next season as the head coach, because they named Kitchens head coach instead of the defensive coordinator whose name is suddenly escaping me right now. It was
I remember it was up to the two of them. I can't remember right now either. Fuck.
oh damn. Sorry.
Fuck it, it's not a Browns podcast. Who cares?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So Kitchens became head coach, and he suddenly nutted up. All of a sudden it was run to the left, run to the right, no rollouts for Baker, nothing really imaginative about the offense. It was almost like he got scared now that he's the head coach and it's his head on the chopping block. He didn't want to do all the crazy innovative shit that he was doing as an offensive coordinator. Not sure why that is. Todd Monken, by the way, was his offensive coordinator that season. But I think Kitchen still called the plays. And Baker did not have a good second season. In fact, out of all the seasons that I watched, I think this was the first season that I really started to doubt whether he was going to be a good quarterback. He was very erratic, missed wide open receivers. And he also had some problems with his receivers too. Odell was there, and Odell was a bit of a prima donna. He wanted the ball. Him and Landry, for some reason, had trouble holding onto the football. Everybody dropped the ball for the Browns. It was really weird. I mean, Baker would put it right on them and hit them right in the hands, and it would just go down. So it wasn't all on Baker, but He definitely struggled. I think the biggest problem with him is he was a one read quarterback at the time. He would look at his first option. If it wasn't there, either throw it away, hold the ball, get sacked, or throw an interception. And we probably saw a lot of that with Jameis when Jameis was here, because Jameis struggled with one reads as well. And Jameis never
JC.
really.
Talk about Jameis throwing interceptions. Come on, man. Jameis.
Yeah, Jameis never really grew out of it until he got to the Saints, which was
Neither
interesting.
did Baker, by
but
the way.
no, well, that's not true. That is not true. He definitely grew out of it. He definitely grew out of it.
Elaborate, please, JC, so he'll shut the fuck up. Let's elaborate this point. Go ahead, Stanker.
Yeah,
We've been waiting
Yeah,
on this.
go-
Let's take
yeah,
the fucking
please,
gloves
Stank.
off, bro.
Hold on, before you roast me, can we please give B Shuck some love?
Yeah, go ahead, Sink. Why don't you read?
Go ahead.
All
Read
right,
his super chat.
I'll read
He gave us a $100 super chat.
$100 super chat. because he said to Stank, stroke victim.
But that's not like a compliment to you, Stank.
This is towards your fund. This is towards
This fucking guy.
your medical
thinks that-
expenses.
We're not laughing. with you. We're
Undiagnosed,
laughing at you.
maybe, but I appreciate that.
I have a theory that in Dallas you had a stroke and it lasted for probably 2
Never
or 3
recovered.
months, and then you just never recovered because
Never recovered.
progressively your tweets, your English, I mean, it's gotten worse and worse. Like, listen, Latte and myself are brown people. You're the white one of the crew, and yet your English is so much worse than the two of ours. It's not even like my
Pretty bad.
5-year-old has better English than you, which is mind blowing. And then don't even get started on typing. It doesn't make any sense. And what's crazy is that you talk to type, which is even weirder.
Hey, you know what? That's crazy.
That means you
Sam,
talk wrong.
When I talk to type, it punctuates and everything for me. I don't understand
That's
how
all
this shit continues.
No, it's not even punctuation, dude. It's like a completely incorrect word just dropped into a sentence. And there's no way the word that goes there sounds even close to it. So you're like, he's talking wrong. So he's stroking out while speaking. That's what's happening. There's no other way to explain. I'm not doctor. All right,
Can't
we'll
even
get plus
say it
on
right.
you. I'm
Nothing
not
in the chat
doctor.
says leave me alone. That's what nothing in the chat said.
Hey, leave me alone. Okay, gloves are about to come off. Let's start with the bullshit. We're gonna have the trash.
Go ahead and tell me
man.
how.
But hold on.
Isn't interception
Before
machine
you do,
against-
Stank. Before you say that Baker, is interception machine worse than James, all that fun stuff.
I'd say worse than.
Remember,
Cool too.
I see the salt in the beard coming in, sir, and I kind of like it, bro.
Yeah, that is
It's been
stress
jet
man.
black for like 4 years, bro.
Daddy's
It's
a
finally,
stressed man. Yeah.
just
Oh,
let it
stop.
happen, man. Just let it happen.
Just let it happen. It's
Ran out of paint.
distinguished.
Yeah.
Ran out of paint.
So, in an Arab's world, you know how, like, in the prison world, I guess, the teardrop has significance and it means something when you get those tattoos, yeah? So, in the Arab
Platinum.
world, okay, every gray hair you see in an Arab's beard signifies another bearded man that he has murdered at some point. And so, the more that happens and the more people I conquer, the more grays are going to grow in. It's kind of like almost like a Spartan type of thing, but obviously from the Xerxes side of things. So, anyway.
Hey, Baker's an interception machine, apparently. JC, go.
Yeah, JC, what happened? Year 2 to year 3?
That's
Let's do
false,
this.
So,
according to you.
so year 2, he's right. Baker was an interception machine.
Right.
Year 3,
Well, to just interrupt for 1 second, JC. Sorry.
Yep.
Year 2 is usually the year that quarterbacks struggle. It's the year they take a little bit of a step back. Ryan,
They got film on them. They got
yeah,
film on them.
Matt Ryan, same thing. Even Peyton Manning, all those guys take a step back in year 2. Then year 3, they get their shit together and they start to really understand how things go.
exactly.
Sorry,
Yeah,
go ahead.
exactly. And Poppy, you're absolutely right. And basically, the NFL's got the book on you. They've got your film. They've studied your tendencies. And guess what? They figured out Baker Mayfield is a one-read quarterback, and they exploited that, and he struggled. Start season 3, new head coach. They fired Freddie Kitchens after 1 season. So, by the way, this is Baker's 3rd offense now he's learning. Kevin Stefanski comes in, and Kevin Stefanski runs an offense very similar to the McVay, Shanahan style offense. And
Anybody else get you
Baker-
thinking about that offense? I get very chubbed up.
yes, I'm
Chubbed.
very excited about it. Yes,
Chubbed.
I'm
Chubbed. Go ahead, JC. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. First game of the season, Baker looked like he hadn't learned shit. He threw like 3 interceptions against the Ravens, played horrible. Uh, Rest of the season, he was dynamite, and he was not a one-read quarterback. He would go through all of his options. Uh, Granted, his offensive line actually did a decent job for once. The first 2 seasons they were kind of shitty, but this particular season they actually protected well. Obviously, Chubb and Hunt were a dynamic duo. Their running game was outstanding. Odell stopped being a big baby and actually acted like he wanted to be there. And their offense was humming. The whole team was fantastic that year, but especially Baker, basically leading the way. Um, Started off the season pretty hot. Middle of the season, when Chubb got hurt and they had a few injuries on the offensive line. He had a little bit of struggle in the middle, but then after they started getting all their guys back and he was getting some protection, he lit it up, and he was outstanding, and he basically led the Browns to the playoffs. They actually had to win a game in Pittsburgh, last game of the season. Um, Arch rival. Pittsburgh already had clinched the division. They didn't really give a shit. So they only played their backups. Um, the game itself was a lot closer than anybody really expected, and Baker actually kind of had to rally the Browns to win the game just to get them into the playoffs. And then when they got into the playoffs, I can't say Baker Mayfield won the game in Pittsburgh. He really didn't. Honestly, what won their game in Pittsburgh was the Steelers just shit the bed in the first quarter of that game. The first snap of the game, the ball is hiked over Roethlisberger's head and recovered for a touchdown. Then Roethlisberger threw a pick six, and then before you knew it, it was like 28-0 at the end of the first quarter, and Baker didn't have to do shit. Right.
Bucks at Falcons Thursday Night Football. Got it. Check. Yep.
Yep.
We were down like 52
basically.
to nothing in the first
Oh,
quarter.
God. Don't, Poppy. No, don't. I still have
It's a safe place. It's a safe place.
Yeah.
We can talk about it. It's fine.
Yeah. I still have flashbacks about that, and wake up in cold sweats in the middle of the night. And
Sammer can talk to you about the Ravens game or the Pittsburgh game here.
Oh, the Joe Flacco game.
Yeah, 5 touchdowns before I even got in my seat in the first quarter. Yeah, I went to take a piss. What the fuck?
He threw. Listen, in 13 and a half minutes, one human being threw 5 touchdowns against another team. 13 and a half minutes. The only reason he didn't score those 5 touchdowns all in the first quarter, it blows my. It doesn't make any sense, dude. That was the only game that I left early in my entire life. And also, I almost beat the living shit out of a British Baltimore Ravens fan who talked nonstop shit next to me. Nonstop. And I looked at him and I go, hey, motherfucker, are you even from Baltimore? He goes, no, I'm not from Baltimore. I'm like, fucking shut your goddamn mouth. You're lucky my son is, or you're lucky my younger brother is here. Otherwise, I beat you back to the fucking UK, you piece of garbage.
Back to the
and I got up and I fucking left because it didn't make any sense. You should be rooting for some bullshit soccer team, the Queen or whatever the fuck they watch over there, not fucking Baltimore Ravens.
So wait, Stank. You're telling me, Sammer, you pulled the Devon before Devon pulled the Devon?
Dude, everybody left that game. Everyone.
I didn't leave. No, fuck you. I didn't leave.
You sat through that. You sat through that.
I sat and just relished in my own fucking tears and pain.
It was too fucking hot.
Sat there.
And that British motherfucker was going to get me arrested. I was not going to sit there. No way.
Sound like Devin.
Yeah.
Not happening. No, I wasn't drunk. Yeah. Devin left and missed a comeback. There was no way the Bucs were going to come back. Joe Flacco took his foot off the gas after the first quarter. Okay, and they beat the shit out of us. Carry on.
Yeah, I didn't leave that game, but I can't talk any shit about Sammer because I left the Saints game too, and I will never the Brady comeback.
The Brady comeback.
Yeah,
that was the one this year.
I was so pissed that Bowles punted late in the fourth quarter because I thought that was it, and I was like, fuck this, I'm out. They're not going to win this game. And I let Tom Brady down
So wait,
and the
JC.
Bucs down
You
and everybody
stayed
down.
for the COVID Saints one where it was like 9-3. We got our fucking teeth
Yeah.
kicked in. You stayed for
Yeah.
the next one, the next year.
No.
We're like, we got it this time. We got
That
teeth
game was
kicked in
not.
again.
That game was
You
not
left the
9-3.
comeback.
Latte,
Yeah.
the COVID game was 31-3.
38-3.
It was
That's
so
one-
bad.
That's where I was.
Hey, that's the one where Stank called the chick
Yes.
fat.
That's
You
where he
asshole.
called a Saints chick fat right to her face.
He talks shit to me. In my defense, I'm also fat, and so I'm allowed to throw that word around. She's fat. I'm fat.
I
and
need you to
shit,
be
business
much fatter.
Turning around and talking.
You know what though,
shit to me.
Sammer? I agree with Stank. I mean, it's 2023, bro. We've been fighting for equality. Why? Why can't he
Yeah.
say that?
Yeah.
Why?
Listen, I didn't say it was wrong. It's not like it was news to her. She didn't be like, "Wait, what? I'm what?" Like she was clearly well aware. She wasn't stuffing nachos in her face, thinking, "I'm a I'm a beautiful woman." No. Maybe to some people, but to the majority of the people I know, you are a fat bitch. Yes,
She was at least 20 rows below me, and I could smell the gumbo.
she was
Just
3 rows below you.
oozing
It's
out
just
of her
her head was so far back upon her build that it appeared that she was, at the back of this mountain of a body that she had.
It's
But
just
So bad.
She couldn't even turn around to talk back to us when we called
Chris
her
Beer
fat.
says fat. Chris Beer says
But
fat.
I will say that in my defense, that was the only Bucks game I've left early since the Colts Peyton Manning game back in 2003.
JC, fuck you. You want to tell me about PTSD, the Falcons game? Fuck you. That's real PTSD. Oh, you didn't have to bring that up. That's fucked up. Oh,
That
I was
that-
working at UPS. My third year, had to be at work at fucking 2:00 in the morning. I dozed off. I woke up because we're beating the shit out of me. I woke up to go to work, and I'm like, wait, what? What the fuck?
That game,
Fuck that game.
that game
Fuck
took
that
the
game.
soul out of John Gruden. That was it.
Fuck
After
that
that
game.
that was it.
Took the soul of that
Yeah.
team, John Gruden, this town, everything. Bro.
That was it. That game just completely ended. An
I
era.
thought we were going to win that game because in the very first quarter, it seemed like luck was on our side. Even when we threw an interception, the ball somehow gets fumbled out of the corner's hands and into Keenan McCardell's hands, who then goes
remember that.
I think he scores or he takes it almost to like the 5 or 6 yard line, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, there's no way we lose a game where the interception is handed
Yeah.
right back to us, right? And
And
then
also
and then,
the-
and then the
well,
leaping
Well, not only
penalty.
that, I mean,
The
not only
leaping
that, we
penalty.
have a Super Bowl defense. I mean, our defense was elite. We had
Corey-
Sapp. But
Corey
And
Ivy.
Simeon Rice did not jump off any motherfucker's back,
leaping.
you piece of
That's what
shit.
I'm saying,
leaping.
bro. We got-
Yeah.
leaping. And you
He
know what?
didn't leap.
Corey Ivy should never have been out there. There's no like how is that guy even on a football team? That guy was absolute. I still
God.
say that
Why are
Tony
we talking
Dungy
about this?
paid him off. Just saying. Just a little
Why are we
thought.
talking about this?
All right, JC.
Sorry, guys.
Third year
We all
gets to
have
the
pizza.
playoffs.
Third, yeah,
doesn't win the game
so,
necessarily. You said.
So yeah, he didn't really win the game. I mean, it was just the Steelers just basically shitting the bed and beating themselves. Kansas City was a different story. I mean, Mahomes was being Mahomes, but then Mahomes got hurt midway through the second quarter, and then couldn't continue. They had already built, I think it was like a 17-3 lead or 17-7 lead, something like that. And then Baker just started bringing them back, and it got to a point where they actually had a drive where Baker hit the receiver goes towards the end zone, gets to the goal line, is hit, and fumbles through the end zone, and they lose a touchdown, and it would have tied the game, and then they kicked the ball back to Kansas City, or Kansas City got the ball back, and then the backup quarterback was able to make a fourth down play. Yeah, Henny made a fourth down play that actually got the first down, and they were able to run out the clock, and that was it for the Browns. But Baker showed every kind of thing that you'd want in a starting quarterback, trying to bring the Chiefs or the Browns back against the team that the Bucs eventually beat in the Super Bowl. So
I'm sorry, JC. We just got another super chat by B Shuck, a $50 super chat that says, "Quote: I could smell the gumbo. My night is complete. Love you, Snake."
That's true. I'm just stating facts.
This is why we keep this,
Yeah.
this shit around, bro.
Yeah, he brings some kind of value. It's different. It's not something you can weigh necessarily, but it's there. You can't teach the value that he brings to this team. He's like our Draymond Green, if that makes sense. Anyway, JC, going back to what you just said about Baker showing everything you'd want to see from a starting quarterback. You said that he didn't necessarily win or lose the game against Pittsburgh, right?
Right.
Did he look like he belonged on a playoff playing field? So
absolutely. I mean, he ended up throwing for 300 yards and a couple touchdowns. So it wasn't like he didn't have any say in it, but I just what I meant by he didn't really contribute all that much. The die was cast, guys. I mean, basically it was 21-0. He'd have to show up and toss a 5-yard touchdown pass, and they were lighting him up. But they finished up off the blowout. They made sure that Roethlisberger didn't come back, and it was a thorough ass kicking of the Steelers. But I couldn't really credit him for the win just because of the circumstances of how everything just kind of fell in place for the Browns.
Okay, so JC saying that Tom Brady is Baker, Baker's Tom Brady, because essentially that's what happened in Green Bay, right? I mean, the defense came up to, Whitehead caused 2 fumbles, put it right there for Tom, little pitch and catch, little easy shit. That's what I saw Baker do. He capitalized on what the defense gave him and put him in position to do. And that's what you got to do with a quarterback.
Poppy, I'm not going there with you. I'm sorry. I can't go Baker's Brady, Brady's Baker. No.
That's exactly what took place in
I can't do it, buddy.
As a matter of fact, Brady threw 3 interceptions.
But JC, you're saying though his first 2 ever playoff games, it didn't look like the stage or the lights were too bright for this.
Not at all. Yeah.
Third-year quarterback at the time, right?
No, he was ready, and he played well in both games. He accounted himself very well. I mean, honestly, if the Browns receiver, I forget which guy it was. It wasn't one of either Landry or
17. I can't remember. It was like the third receiver. You're talking about speedster.
Yeah, fast guy. I'm trying to remember his name.
You don't have to be extra, bro. Just fucking go down and Chubb's gonna punch it in, or
yeah. If he would have just if he didn't even dive for the pylon, if he just kind of just held onto the ball or stepped out of bounds or just hold onto the ball and truck the motherfucker, and maybe you get in, but it just didn't work out, unfortunately.
Right. See, you mentioned earlier at the beginning of this breakdown, and by the way, the next year, guys, nothing to see here. Stank's gonna say his piece and talk shit. Second game of the year, Baker tore shoulder labrum, played the entire season injured when he shouldn't have.
Yeah,
he looked like shit playing in a fucking harness. But Stanker and the Gator fucking people are going to tell you he sucks and he threw interceptions.
No, you're absolutely right, Poppy. I mean, it was really the injury. He lost all of his ability to really throw to the left side of the field. Every time he tried to attempt a pass in that direction, it didn't have the velocity. It didn't have the normal power that Baker Mayfield has. He has a very strong arm. Not necessarily accurate with the deep ball, but he's got a super arm. The labrum just really impacted his ability to be able to complete those passes. And I think, it showed in his completion percentage. It showed in his ability to make plays the way that he had in the previous season. It was really affecting him. And for some reason, like you had mentioned, I think it was before the podcast started, Sammer, that for some reason the Browns kept throwing the fucking ball when they had Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt in their backfield and a guy with a torn labrum, and couldn't understand why they were doing it. But
we know why, JC.
Yeah,
teams talk and they say there's no tampering. There's tampering. They wanted Deshaun long time ago, and they were like,
they had Baker exactly where they wanted Baker. He's a 4th-year quarterback. He has to play to earn that option on that 5th year. He can't say, I can't play the rest of the season and leave it up to chance and basically sign his way out, or basically bow his way out of the 5th year, because he basically had no choice but to play. It's kind of similar situation that happened to Jameis with his knee, I think it was, but kind of different also, because that was 30 interception season. But Baker had almost no choice but to go out there and play. And the coaches every single week basically would say how his left shoulder is definitely affecting his ability to play. But then they would go out the very next Sunday and call more than 35 pass plays in a 3-point game. Like, the games were not blowouts. They threw over 31 passes, I think, once in his games before his final 5 games as a Brown. And then in those final 5 games, they threw for over 35 almost every single time. And I think maybe literally 4 out of the 5 games. And none of them were blowouts. None of them were wild comeback games. None of them were shootouts where teams are going back and forth. They just refused to give the ball on down and distances that made sense with the lead to their guy. Not in every case. Not in every case, JC. You watched every game, but the ones that I watched, for sure, it made no sense.
Yeah. Sammer, there was a couple shootout games that were just unbelievable games, and even him playing hurt, the gutty performances that he would put together. I mean, he dueled the game with Justin Herbert. There was another one with Lamar where they just went back and forth, and the Browns ended up losing the game, but Baker just matched them, punch for punch, and that's with a torn fucking labrum. The guy could barely freaking throw the ball, and he was matching him blow for blow. He couldn't do that consistently, week in and week out. He just didn't have it in him.
I think we lost JC.
We did.
And
there it is. Did I lose you guys? Sorry about that.
It just it froze up for a little bit, and then it fixed itself.
I was going to say,
right,
I thought when I looked back, they didn't have any of those games that the opponent scored over 30 points. Maybe they were shootouts at a lower rate.
No. There was one where it was like a 34-31 type game.
Maybe it was a
with
game like that,
with the Chargers. And there was a similar one with Lamar too, where it was just kind of back and forth, man. I mean, it was fun to watch, and I give a fuck about the Browns, but it was actually an entertaining game just to watch these two young quarterbacks just kind of going back and forth with each other. It was extremely entertaining. I want to talk about Carolina real quick. So we kind of know what happened at the end of the Brown season. For some reason, they decided that they wanted to go with Deshaun Watson. I understand Watson's an amazing talent. He's a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield, no question. Can't argue that. But with his baggage that he was bringing and the money that they paid him guaranteed, I think they were nuts.
Fucked over the entire league. Fucked over the entire league. Every executive is like, "Fuck you, Cleveland."
They fucked him up. Like, that was I mean, you haven't seen it, and you'll never see it again. Lamar tried to hold out and get that contract. It's not going to happen. Thing.
Mahomes,
all the GMs got together and were like, "Fuck y'all, we are never doing this again."
It wasn't just the GMs; it was the owners too, bro.
The owners. It's not
owners.
Bitch.
I honestly think that Baker took a lot of the heat for the Browns not really being as good as they were the season before. He became, kind of like when we went 13-4, and then last season we were 8-9, and nobody wanted to blame Brady, right? Nobody wanted to blame Brady.
Okay.
But everybody blamed Baker. Baker played terrible. No, he was playing fucking hurt. He was playing gutty for you motherfuckers because, went a little bit too crazy. I know you try to keep somewhat family friendly in this thing.
No, we don't. Oh, fuck.
I don't know what you're apologizing for at all right now.
What the fuck?
Number one podcast for divorced men and divorced women in this country.
That's it.
Hate family.
Anyway,
and the children that do watch it are a little stinker. I mean, I don't condone it, but his father does. So.
What you said is not anything I haven't heard at the kids' table at Thanksgiving. So it's.
Oh, okay. All right. But they
Hammer has a no Spanish children policy on this fucking podcast.
Yes. Still standing from day one.
Day one.
Spanish children.
No Spanish children allowed.
Why my niñas and niños are never allowed in here.
Don't even say that word.
Oh, wow.
Not even allowed to be said on here, honestly.
Wow.
North Carolina.
But you can say cojones.
You can say cojones.
Yeah.
All right. So Carolina, I took a lot of heat from the Panther fans with my Baker watch when I was watching Carolina, because basically their offensive line, the first 4 or 5 games when Baker was playing, was absolute dog shit. I mean, even in the very first game of the season, they actually played the Browns. It was kind of like the Baker revenge game that they called it. And freaking Myles Garrett made their left tackle. I don't know the guy's name. He's some jabroni. Made him look like a turnstile. I mean, like, Donovan Smith looked like a freaking all-pro compared to this dude. The way that they would walk past. Luke Gedeke looked like a freaking Randall McDaniel compared to the way this guy was getting whipped by Myles Garrett.
We're talking Kenyatta. We're talking
Super
Kenyatta
Bowl
Walker.
Super Bowl champion.
I mean, Kenyatta Walker looked better than this guy did. I mean, it was
that's
a
impossible.
nightmare.
Not possible.
I mean,
Gator
dude,
player.
I'm telling you.
What about the guy that came in
when Garrett would get off on his rush? He would go past this guy so fast, the guy hadn't even got out of his stance before Garrett was already hitting fucking Baker Mayfield.
What about the guy that came in for Dotson? I think it was against the Colts.
His name was like Truffulus or some shit.
No, Dallas. It was Dallas, right? It was really bad, bro.
Truffulus.
Like, we're gonna fucking go to playoffs and then
Stanker.
Maybe it's that level, yeah. Maybe that level, yeah. But and it didn't get any better for any of the other games. And oh, by the way, Baker brought the Panthers back in that game, gave them the lead, and then the Panthers' shitty defense gave it away at the end. So, the Panther fans can talk all the shit they want about how terrible Baker Mayfield was, and he was not good with them. I will freely admit that. Matt Rule was horrible.
He was fired.
Horrible coach.
Fired not even in 8 games,
Horrible
I think
coach.
it was.
Yeah. He was horrible. And no imagination on his offense. He didn't roll. Baker Mayfield's at his best when he's moving around, when he's rolling out of the pocket. He's a small dude, right? He's not 6'5". He's not Jameis. He's a small guy.
JC, is he smaller than Carolina's current quarterback?
No. That guy's part of the lollipop guild. So no, definitely not.
I think Jaden's taller than him. I'm just 12.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, I think you're right.
Not very tall either. No offense.
But when Baker's rolling out, when Baker can get from behind the offensive line to start seeing the field a lot better, he's deadly. But the problem is that Matt Rule did not have that in his offense. There were no rollouts, no play, very little play action. Most of the shit was from shotgun. It was one of those run and gun, the spread crap that they bring from college football that what's his face from Arizona was running. Same kind of crap, right? And it helped McCaffrey light up the stat book, with receptions and yardage and whatnot.
Oh, I think JC's internet again.
He's back.
He's back.
Damn, I keep losing you guys. Sorry about that.
At least in the same position. Let's go.
Yeah. So yeah. It helped McCaffrey, light up the stat book, but for the most part, it didn't help them win game. And between their defense sucking and their offensive line being terrible, had no chance, and their coach sucking, Baker had no chance in Carolina. No chance at all.
So what you're saying, JC, if I can recollect here fully, is that if you're a professional athlete, Sammer knows a little bit about this. He competes against professional athletes on Peloton every day.
Basically.
Sammer, if you're a professional athlete, there's a certain part of the game, such a certain level of importance as far as mental confidence, swag, big dick energy. So what you're saying, JC, is in his last season with Cleveland, playing injured, knowing in his head, I can't throw that way. Gotta fuck with your brain. Knowing in Carolina, this offense sucks and the line sucks. And I'm hearing footsteps and I don't know what the fuck's going on. And I'm not playing to my strengths. You're saying that those things matter, JC? Is that what the fuck you're saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely they matter.
You also said at the beginning of your point, you also said that they had a book out on him in his second year. Mm-hmm. Is there a book out on Trask, Sammer? Do they have a book on Trask out? Is there a book yet? Is it a bestseller? Is there something going on?
They have a white piece of paper with nothing on it.
No, they do. It has
maybe
3
the coaches,
interceptions
maybe
on the first day of
no.
OTA.
The rest of the league is what I'm saying. The rest of the league has nothing on Kyle Trask, but
nobody's
the
got
coaching staff here.
Nobody knows how to stop him.
Coaching staff here has a long list of notes that they've taken. All right, and those notes have all basically said we may need to bring someone else in because we do not know if this guy knows what the fuck he's doing.
Is Ryan Griffin still available?
Yeah, I mean, like somebody said in the chat before the show even started, is Kyle Trask the new Ryan Griffin? It might be. Kyle Griffin, straight from Family Guy.
You made a mistake
to the Tampa
though.
Bay Bucs.
You said there was nothing on that paper. There is something. There was 4 interceptions he threw on the first day of minicamp.
Well, no, I said the league has a blank piece of paper. The NFL,
the Bucs have a paper.
The
though.
Bucs coaches have they've got
JC,
notes.
according to Stank JC, they're not keeping track of that. Those interceptions in practice.
That's what we're not
keeping track of that. I don't necessarily agree with that. Sorry.
Minicamp stats, bro. That some of your colleagues from UPS are out there running around at minicamp. You do realize that, right?
First of all, do not take a shot at him. Are you saying that he's not worthy of being on an NFL field because he's a UPS driver? Is that
fucked up.
What are you saying here?
I can identify as an NFL player if I want to. God damn it.
Yeah, you identify however you want.
We'll be playing in the NFL this year.
Okay, here. Think about it like this.
JC,
Hold on.
JC,
BA drafted Kyle Trask. Okay, BA is still 1,000% consulting. He's still consulting, right? Part of the team's decision making. They ask him questions. He was 1,000% on board with the Bucs signing Baker Mayfield. What does that tell you about the guy who drafted this guy saying, no, I love this other guy? Come on. You can't cheat on your girlfriend and tell her that you're still sitting with it.
I think statute of limitations has kicked in a little bit here, so we can't fully talk about it. But, JC, they wanted Baker the year before when Tom came out.
Yes.
Let's be fucking honest here, bro.
And
talking about Trask, come on, bro, stop.
And on top of that, Bruce Arians also said in a preseason game that, he would only come out of retirement for Baker. For the Cleveland Browns. Yeah.
Hey, and at his golf tournament?
So he's had a hard on for Baker for a while now.
So at his golf tournament, JC, ask Sammer. When we asked him about Trask, he's like, yeah. Ask him about fucking Baker. Oh, shit.
Lit up.
I love the kid, bro.
Start saying fuck this, fuck that, motherfucker, balls. I mean, he said the whole everything.
Sammer, who was Baker golfing with?
It wasn't with. Was it Spytech?
Ownership.
Yeah. What's his name? Ford. Was it not Ford or Kasowitz?
Kasowitz.
Yeah.
Who was Kyle Trask golfing with?
Just some dudes. And I don't think they knew who he was. They thought he just showed up and they got stuck with him.
To golf with a celebrity, and they left him.
They left him. I think they thought this guy signed up to be part of this, fundraising and all that stuff. And he didn't have a foursome, so they just teamed him up with this group of 4. But going back to when you said Bruce Arians wanted Kyle Trask, or not Kyle Trask, Baker Mayfield had a hard on for him, yada yada. Baker also, him and his team. We have this on very good authority. They wanted to come to Tampa when Tom Brady initially retired. Before he came out of retirement, they were pushing buttons to get traded to Tampa. Don't say that, Sammer, because it doesn't make sense. The Bucs suck. Nobody wants to come here, right? Put up video game numbers with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and all these fucking weapons that are here. Nobody wants to play with that fucking ragtag team.
Let me just say this though. From what I've seen from Baker, I don't think he would have fit well in the Byron Leftwich, Bruce Arians offense.
What do you mean?
He has a
one hell of a. Have you seen him throw a wide receiver screen?
Hold on.
Have you seen him throw a wide receiver screen, JC?
Yes, he's great at the wide receiver screen.
Untouchable.
Yes. Yes, the Godwin would eat for sure. But he has a great deep ball, but I don't know if it was just the injury or what. In year 3, he was very accurate with the deep ball, but ever since he got hurt, his accuracy on the deep ball just does not work. So I think that he would have struggled in Tampa under Byron Leftwich.
I disagree, JC, and here's why.
Okay.
I partially disagree and I partially agree. Under Byron, BA system though, it wasn't the same as it was here with Tom, right? As in Arizona. I remember David Johnson being a fucking monster, a lot of play action. Freddie Kitchens' system comes part of it, right, comes from BA because they
fair,
that, right? So there are concepts in that offense, but when you have Tom fucking goddamn Brady, people can play on whatever they want. But we had the number one offense. We won the Super Bowl. They lit up the fucking scoreboard. And then year 2 was even dumber. And people complained all year that year. Where the fuck is the play action? Where the They put up video game numbers the second year. They had a better year the second year. So I think they could have found concepts that worked, and they would have made
if BA was there
around him. If BA was more more hands on with it. With Byron though, I don't know. You're right. I don't know. But just in defense of the BA offense, it's more multiple than people think.
And there was one other thing I did want to kind of say. And Stank, you're gonna like this one. I think the best interest for the Bucs is for Kyle Trask to ball out and win the starting job, because I think that if he balls out and wins the starting job, that's a great situation for the Bucs because they still have him under control for another year, and they found themselves a young quarterback that they drafted.
Not gonna happen. I don't want that to happen, JC, and I'll tell you why. You know why I don't want that to happen? You shouldn't want it either. Nobody in this goddamn panel and the people, fucking 50-some people here watching this that haven't hit the goddamn like button. Hit the fucking like button today.
Like button, 50 likes. God damn,
you know why we don't want that to happen, JC? Because we're fucking Bucs fans, goddammit. We know better. Go full screen. Go full screen. We know better, bro. We've seen this movie, JC.
Yeah.
They give us a little tease. Oh my God, we got a franchise quarterback, and he's gonna come back year 2 as a starter.
And then not be the guy.
Hit the fucking bed, bro.
You're right.
This is the story. We know it's the stories all the time. We know the story. So no, give me the fucking better.
Hold on.
And let me
are you saying you're rooting for Kyle to fail?
I'm not rooting for the fail. I said if he wins the job and he looks great, he's going to shit the bed the next year.
I don't think he needs us to root for him to fail.
Yeah, I don't think he needs to root for him, bro.
He doesn't need our help.
Because you know, listen, it's the circle jerk over. JC, are you done? Did you paint the whole picture yet?
No, I'm not done yet.
No.
Okay,
so
I'll let you finish.
Still the Rams moments.
Because there's one more thing I do want to say in regards to Kyle. I am also a Gator fan, and I watched every single play that Kyle played at Florida. I think he has talent. I think he could be a decent NFL quarterback if given the opportunity to play football. I will say that under Byron Leftwich's offense, he was not a fit for that offense, and he didn't look anywhere near ready to play in the league. So I don't know what he'll be in Dave Canales' offense. So I'm kind of excited to see how he'll do. Truth be told, he's not beating out Baker Mayfield, Stank. I'm sorry, he's not.
Stank knows that.
I agree. I've said that. I've admitted that.
And any kind of discussion that Baker's only gonna last 5 games. I don't see that happening either because he's got talent around him. I think as long as the offensive line coalesces and doesn't become as bad as Carolina's was, I think he'll be fine with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and I think the running game should be a lot better. Our defense is going to keep him in games, and he has shown the capability to win games, close games. And a great example of that was when he pulled a Brady on fucking 2 days being a member of the Los Angeles Rams. And
fucking dots.
Which runs a very similar offense to what we're going to see here with Canales.
Exactly.
Very similar.
He didn't even know who the fuck his receivers were. And by the way, Cooper Kupp was out. Aaron Donald was out. He was throwing to guys that I never even heard of, and Van Jefferson.
White boy receiver.
That was about it.
Balls, yeah.
Yeah. And somehow he still fucking found a way to win that game in a game that, by the way, the Raiders needed to have to have any hopes of making the playoffs. They were talking about it the whole game. Oh, well, this is a game that the Raiders must win. And guess what?
They lost.
Baker freaking stole it and stole it from Derek Carr. And I have a feeling that that's not going to be the last time Baker steals shit from Derek Carr.
I think JC that I just don't see it in Trask. This is all I'm going to say, and then let's do his thing.
You don't know what you've seen.
Let me finish, bro. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Let me finish. Jesus, man.
He's so mad.
Let me finish.
talking.
Damn. I just don't see it, JC. You've seen a lot of Trask. I've seen the highlights and stuff, and even in the highlights, I just don't see it. I think Callie put on there, he throws a lot of jump balls. People say he has arm strength. He can throw it far, but throwing it far and driving it down the field, hold on. Throwing it far and driving it down the field, JC, are two different things.
Yeah.
You throw it 60 yards, but it's a fucking moon ball that takes goddamn 20 minutes to get there. I'm not interested. That's what I see in Kyle Trask.
He has to. I'm sorry, Poppy, go ahead.
Which is why I don't think he'd be successful in a Byron or a BA-led offense. In this offense, a little more creative. I mean, Jesus, Shanahan made Jimmy G look good. They went to a fucking Super Bowl. But ultimately, they still traded 3 first-round picks to go get Trey Lance. Why? Because you want a fucking difference maker at quarterback. So every team is chasing that. Even if you have an offense that makes Trash look good, you still want a guy that's fucking elite. That's fucking elite that can take you over the top. So if Baker completely shits the bed, but Canales can call plays and the offense look good, I'm sure they can make Trash look serviceable. But he's not going to be. You're still going to be chasing that elite guy.
The offense will definitely make him look good. And to JC's, I didn't know you were a Gator fan. So finding out that you're a Gator fan and you went out of your way, you watched all these Baker Mayfield games,
makes it even more
and
beautiful.
Still came out of it saying he will be the starting quarterback. This is not necessarily a shot at Kyle. I still think if Kyle were the only quarterback on this roster, and he had to play in this offense, he would do decent. I just don't see him playing better than Baker in preseason and training camp.
I agree.
I just don't see that happening. The
chat is ready for this old school fucking big dog 620 days monologue that Stank's about to come all over everyone. Yeah. You have the floor, sir. I'm not interrupting you.
Whole court like big
go
dog.
Ahead. You can't hold a jock strap to big dog. But go ahead.
I'm going Stank Cam. You ready?
Stank Cam.
Make sure
monologue.
Do it.
Because I have questions for JC before
I feel like I'm driving home and I'm listening to big dog fucking game. I have questions for
JC. JC.
Okay.
Baker's best year, right? 2020?
Yes.
Best running attack in the league? Number one.
Absolutely. Yep. Right. Chubb was a beast, and Chubb's may be the best running back in the NFL. Absolutely.
Right. And they put up crazy numbers, 300 plus rushing yard games. Like they had total. I'm saying not individual.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, just ran over people that year.
Most quarterbacks. Lower your mic a little bit. I can't hear you.
Hold on. Okay, well, here. Most quarterbacks put into a machine like that, right? Stefanski came over from Minnesota. Minnesota did that same thing with Dalvin Cook. They ran the ball down people's throats. Kirk Cousins did what he did. They diced people up. And Baker was asked to do that when Stefanski came in, and it worked. It worked. At least that year it worked. So he got hurt. And so he succeeded in that, in a great environment for a quarterback, right? Similar to I would put, I like the Jameis comparison because there are games that I've seen where, what are you laughing at, bitches?
Go ahead.
I love Zach. I love Zach, man. I love our fucking viewers. I love Zach. He just quoted the best movie ever in Tropic Thunder. He said, "You never go full Stank, bro. Never go full retard."
I thought I was muted for a second. I thought the entire time I was going on this fucking diatribe.
I wanted to, but you've been a good boy today. You sat quietly and let us talk.
Full Stank. You never go full Stank.
Anyways. Put into a Ferrari. He drove pretty well, right? Did he win the Super Bowl? That's fine. They kicked that ass that year, and they actually ran the ball really well. The following year, when they went, I don't know, they won 6 games. They fell apart. Defense fell apart. He got hurt, but they still, I think they were still like the number 1 rushing team in the NFL. So
yeah, they still had playoff hopes going into the last couple weeks.
Yeah. So are we under the assumption we haven't had a rushing attack like that ever here? And I mean ever. We've never had a rushing attack like here. And we've been abysmal at running the ball. You can sing Dave Canales' praises all you want, but there's been a lot of shuffling on this offensive line. And if you're expecting Baker to come in and be good Baker, just like we all loved good Jameis, right? Just because he has shown that in the past, being in the driver's seat of a fucking, of a F1 car, I think people are just over projecting because I don't think that's what this offense is going to be next year. He's going to be asked to throw the ball around quite a bit. As much as I like Rashad, I don't see this. All of a sudden, we become a top 5 rushing offense. I just don't see it. Yeah. So the pressure is going to be back on Baker, and Baker's already shown that he
running
can't.
a completely
can't carry
different
the load.
scheme that we've never run here. We've never run a zone run scheme ever.
And it's not just that. It's not just the blocking scheme being different. It's when you choose to run the ball. The situation of handing the ball off like to just run the ball knowing that it's not going to work is much different than creatively running the ball and setting up the run, which is what they do in San Francisco, what they do with the Rams, what they did so damn well with the Seahawks, where Canales was there front and center with the quarterbacks, working on every single part of that game plan with those guys and setting up a guy who everyone wrote off. All of a sudden, setting up to be an MVP conversation. Fox News was sucking that guy's cock. Yeah, it was like
right back.
That was a big fucking storyline going into that Germany game. All we heard about was that guy. We didn't hear about Tom Brady. We didn't hear about anything but that quarterback. And then now you bring him here. You know, you can take all the shots you want at Rashad. You can do whatever you want. But
take a shot at Rashad.
No,
Saber, somebody just typed in the chat.
Take a shot at Rashad.
Somebody just typed in the chat. He would talk to Tex Abysmal and still spell it wrong.
Yeah. But my point being that, and I'm going to direct this as JC. JC, when you watch those games where they had a good running attack, when
the best
they had when they had to actually lean on Baker, did it look like he needed a running attack, or did he answer the bell?
He could answer, and I think Stank, your argument kind of falls apart when you take into account the team that he had with the Rams, because the Rams were decimated by injuries. They didn't have a good running game. Their running game was worse than our running game. Yet he still played extremely well with the Rams, won 2 games with them. And, you know, he showed that in that particular offense, he can be extremely effective. Now,
if you have a McVay, which we don't know that Canales is, do we? We don't know if
we don't know that. Yeah,
that's fair. We don't know if he's McVay. We don't know if he's that top tier level.
That's not a Trash Baker.
So you just assume he is because he came over from Seattle. Like, oh, he's just automatically going to bring the success.
That's what he's going to run, motherfucker.
He wasn't even the offensive coordinator, and he was in a system that's been in place for like fucking 39 years, dude. Okay,
so he's gonna bring that system here. He's not gonna run the triple option, motherfucker.
Yeah, you can bring whatever system you want. You can bring the Tampa 2 anywhere, but if you don't got the horses, it ain't gonna matter, right?
That's not the system that they won a Super Bowl with.
So what you're saying is that Trask will fail too. That's what you're talking about.
We don't know what Trask is gonna be. We don't know what Trask is gonna be. That's always been my argument with Kyle. I have no fucking clue what that guy's gonna be.
Yeah, and on top of that, I just want to kind of say is that, you know, the Seahawks, they keep bringing in running backs that they drafted in the 5th round, the 6th round, undrafted free agents, and they're effective in that offense. No. So if you're trying to tell me that Rachaad White and Sean Tucker and Chase Edmonds can't be in an effective running game, you know, we're not going to be 30th in the league. You know, we may not be top 5. I don't know where we'll end up. You know, that all kind of depends on how the offensive line gels. But we're not going to be 30th. And, you know, if he gets enough of a running game to where he doesn't have to throw the ball 40 times a game, you know, like Brady did, we'll be fine. The offense will be fine.
The thing, to remember with the Seahawks, real quick, Latte, the thing with the Seahawks, they didn't have some all-star offensive line. People were saying this might be the worst offensive line in the NFL. This team's not going to win 2-3 games. They're going to be, what's that?
I said Canales actually said that on Pewter Report. Shout out. He said that they kept knocking the offensive line and was like,
they were supposed to be picking top 3. They ran the ball pretty fucking effectively until they met Vita Vea in our defense. Go ahead. Sorry, Latte.
No, I just wanted to say, you mentioned earlier, and we talked about Carolina and their lack of creativity. You mentioned Baker's strengths and the rollouts, the naked bootlegs and stuff like that. That's his jam. That's where he's in his groove, right? Mm-hmm. I think it's been discussed to nauseum on Bucs Twitter and Bucs social media at this point, right? With Byron and all the bullshit people hating. I don't think you need to run the ball effectively to effectively run play action. So what the fuck are we talking about here, JC?
Yeah.
Listen,
what are we talking about here, Stank? And you keep talking about Canales, and here we go with the analytics. That affects Trash too, motherfucker.
Run the ball at all to play.
But Stank, to your point. Okay, to your point. Good running game, bad running game. Canales, good offensive coordinator, not a good offensive coordinator. Those 2 factors are maybes for both guys. they affect both guys. It's not like if
guys.
Canales is calling plays for Baker, he's a better play caller than he is for Kyle, or vice versa. It's not like they're going to run block better if Kyle's the one handing the ball off as opposed to Baker. Like, we don't know what any of those things are going to end up being. But in the perfect scenario, we don't know. You're right. We don't know what Kyle Trask is. But what we do know about Baker and what we think is going to be this offense, it's a very good blend. It's a very good outlook on what you, and I'm not a Baker fan. I've never been a Baker fan. But in this scenario, when he's a Buck under the right circumstances with this type of offense, where he doesn't have to play hero ball, he doesn't have to put on this, 35 to 40 pass type of offense. Guys are open, hand the ball off, play within the system, which is everything that Canales has said. There's no reason to doubt him until he shows us that we should doubt him.
I will say this for Kyle, okay? Kyle seems to be a guy that takes some time to learn things, right? But he did run a movement style. Like Dan Mullen's offense had him rolling out boots. He throws very well.
We're talking about college now?
Yeah.
Talking about college.
I'm just saying he has the ability.
Not actually thrown passes in the NFL.
And you know what?
College.
Canales said that on the Pewter Report podcast. What was he surprised to see with Kyle? He said way more mobile than I thought. Like he's got good mobility. He throws well on the run. He's saying everything I just said. So, the guy that you're out down there like fucking deep throating also gave him the same compliments. That also
what do you want him?
Well.
What did you expect him to say, honestly?
Oh, okay. So now he's just throwing empty compliments, right? Stop.
No, I'm not saying they're empty compliments.
Going, bro.
I'm just saying he's not going to badmouth him.
What did you expect him to say?
JC
I didn't expect him to say, hey, Trask threw 4 interceptions in the first day of minicamp.
Listen, JC watched the Gator games. JC, how much? And I don't know. I didn't watch the games. I don't know. I'm asking you a genuine question. How much of the supporting cast did Kyle Trask benefit from? How much did Tony and Kyle Pitts make him look better than maybe he was? Or was he actually a good quarterback in college? I'm not saying he sucked. I didn't watch the games.
Mullen was a great offensive coach as well. Don't forget that.
Is that why he got fired?
Well, I won't go there.
He was. He wasn't a great head coach, but as far as
I remember him getting fired because his offense was bad as a head coach.
Shitty.
He wasn't a good overall head coach, but the guy is a good offensive coordinator.
Okay, sure.
Now, I will say I agree with Stank in that Kyle did have a little bit of mobility. He's not fucking Lamar, but he can move around, and he can get the ball where it needs to be. He does take advantage of his playmakers. No doubt he took advantage of Tony and Pitts, but that's what you want to do. You want to get the ball to your playmakers and make sure that they're getting the ball in a spot where they can do something with it, and he can definitely do that. He managed the offense really well. He was extremely accurate. You
got to give him more credit than that. You don't say he managed the offense very well when he put up ridiculous numbers. And I get it, it's college, but he was in the Heisman running.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. I can't.
Joe Burrow were going back and forth that season. Yeah. He was impressive.
He put up Burrow numbers for sure, and he had an impressive season. He also had a fantastic game against Alabama, where he almost ruined Alabama's chances at a national championship because Florida had them on the ropes and should have fucking beat them, but. We didn't get it done, but Trask does have some qualities that I think can translate to the NFL. I absolutely agree with Stank on that. Is he better than Baker Mayfield at this point in his career? I don't think so. Now, I'm not going to say Baker Mayfield is going to be Tom Brady. He's not going to be a top 5 quarterback. He may not even be a top 10 quarterback in this league. But what he can be is a quarterback that can win games for the Bucs. And I think that's all we as Buck fans care about is winning football games. Can we win the NFC South? With Baker Mayfield, I think it's possible. Can we win the Super Bowl? That's going to be a big ask. I don't think Baker can take us all the way to that level of competition. But can we win this shitty division? Fuck yeah, we can. Absolutely.
Joe Flacco
has us going undefeated.
Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl somehow 1 year. It happened down.
So did Trent Dilfer, right?
Trent Dilfer. So this year, Absolutely not. But who knows what happens down the road? What happens when this team is kind of reloaded a little bit more? But I want to go back to what a lot of people say about Trask, which is the knock that the majority of us will say is he has no experience, and then their response is, well, you got to give him experience. You got to let him go play.
Couldn't fucking ascend to the backup. Like,
here's my thing, man.
Oh, don't do that, Latte. He was never going to be given the opportunity to compete for that job. All right, now you're just saying shit just to hear yourself talk.
But let's say that you're correct, okay? Let's say you're correct and that he was not given a fair shot to be a second-string quarterback. Okay, that's fair. I'll pretend that that's a legit thing.
It's not even about fair shot. He wasn't given the opportunity.
Okay.
Tom picked his guy, and that was it.
Okay, sure. So
end of discussion.
Okay, now this year, I'm not a big believer of just giving a guy unless he's a first-round pick, like a top 3 pick. You don't just give him the job. That goes for everybody.
Right.
I get it. But a lot of Kyle Trask fans say, we just need to give him the shot. Let him go out there and show us. No, that's not how it works.
He's got to earn it.
That's got to earn it. A lot of people say, there's somebody in the in the stink, dude. In the chat.
I don't see anybody saying, just give Kyle the job.
And you know who says it the most? Gator fans. They say, we need to give him a shot. He's having a shot in practice.
I don't follow those people.
He's getting a shot in training camp. He's getting a shot this year in preseason and camp, all of it, leading up to week 1. To make the coaches make that decision. If he doesn't come out as a quarterback, that tells me enough. I'm not going to just sit there and say he's not the guy now. I have my opinion, but I'm not going to say that he can't sway or win the job. We'll see what happens, but this whole give it to him, he needs experience, and you won't know until you let him have that shot. That's not how it fucking works.
He's got to earn it.
And it's not fair. And it's not fair.
He deserves the opportunity.
It is not fair.
Also, he's getting
it is not fair to the other 51 guys who have to earn their ass out every fucking practice. It's not fair to them to just give it to somebody and say, "Sorry, we may lose games, but we need to try."
Nobody said that.
Not nobody.
You
but
just
a
went
lot
on
of
a
fans.
A lot of fans say it. Anybody who's like, give Kyle Trask the job. Nobody said that.
What? Go look at my fucking mentions anytime I post any ridiculous.
At me at any of them. I want to see it. I want to see who people are like.
They're in the chat right now.
In the chat right now, bro.
Where? Show me. Give Kyle the job. Show me where anybody put that.
And Stank, we know you don't follow any of them because we know you just follow Saints fans. So
that's right. I strictly follow me and Jono. Actually, Jono's the only person I follow. I don't even follow Sammer anymore. Latte never tweets. He doesn't. I don't think he knows.
I unfollowed you for a while.
Hey,
I told you that.
Titan God makes a great point here because we all lived through that. It says Gator fans saying give Trask a shot just like they said give Tebow a shot. I remember that. He's a winner.
Yeah.
Just put him in. He's a winner.
Titan fan or whatever. If you're even a Titan fan, I think Tebow's won more playoff games than the Titans have recently. If I'm not fucking. If I remember correctly.
Oh God, you're not doing that, are you?
Tebow was never going to be an NFL fucking quarterback.
Fair question.
It's funny bringing up the Titans. I think Baker is kind of a Ryan Tannehill, and I know that's a kind of a guy that everybody's like, oh God, Ryan Tannehill, really? Ryan Tannehill's led the Titans to the playoffs multiple seasons, and led them to the AFC Championship game one year.
Yeah,
one game so.
Ended Tom's career in fucking New England.
Yeah. So I mean, I think if Baker does win the job, which I think we all kind of agree, even Stank agrees that he's probably going to win the job coming out of camp. I think he can be that kind of quarterback for the Bucs, where he's never going to be top 5 up there with Mahomes and Rodgers and everybody. But he can be a guy that can be a steady quarterback, a Kirk Cousins, Ryan Tannehill type guy that will consistently win for the team. And let's face it, guys, after a decade of fucking losing and dealing with Bruce Gradkowski and Luke McCown and all those other jabronis that we had at quarterback,
Mike Glennon.
Mike Glennon, his neck is probably taller than Baker is and the Carolina quarterback.
His neck was taller than his stat line. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. I'm okay with a guy that may not be a superstar, but he can definitely win us some games.
I'll take some win. I'll just take some W's, JC.
New Orleans stinks.
I mean, we've been Bucs fans our whole life. Pain. We've redefined pain. All those quarterbacks you didn't mention, Jameis. I mean, I remember
Jameis hurts me,
out.
Man.
I remember busting out my projector, 150-inch screen, just 2 feet from him with a big steak, watching us draft our future fucking quarterback. He's taking us to a goddamn Super Bowl, and then we weren't Tennessee ready. I sat in that game. I convinced my friends to go with me. JC, I convinced my business partner to come with me. It was his first Bucs game ever. Hot as balls, and he's like, "Man, I'm buying into the hype. This is fucking awesome. You guys go quarterback." And then he threw a pick six on his first.
Is it not apropos that his first pass and his last pass as a Buccaneer was a pick six?
It's beautiful.
There's
cinematography. It's just beautiful. It's
scripted. That's how they wrote the script. He didn't agree with it, but he didn't really read it all the way through. That's the problem. He should have, had the script for him.
Well, I mean, he had that eye thing going on, So
what's even more poetic is if he doesn't fall on his face that year, and I get it, they'd already made the decision before the pick six, supposedly, that they were going to move on from him, or at least explore options, and maybe
door number two, man.
They knew that. They knew that, and I don't know this for sure.
Right?
Maybe I do. They were done in London, bro.
But Jameis's career had to die in order for Tom to come here and us win a Super Bowl. I mean, and I appreciate that he gave his career for us.
He threw that pick six for us. He did everything he could. And then finally, at the end, he said, "You know what? The only way I'm going to get this fan base to a Super Bowl is if I throw this pick six, I lose this game, and I just bow my way out."
So by proxy, he should get a ring. Like some people say.
Some people think he should.
Some people really said that, bro.
Yeah, I think I want to say that 101 character wrote a whole fucking shit. Why he deserved a ring. And you know what? I agree. He does.
So where it says Brady on the side and it says the team's name and stuff, we should change that on his and have it say pick six. And then on the inside where the score is, it should just say the number of touchdowns and then the number of interceptions he threw as a Buck. Like that's the only. And if they do that, I will pay for the ring, a legit ring to be made like that. I will hand it to him and be like, dude, you deserve this because without your nonsense, and I'm an FSU fan, massive Jameis fan back in those days as well. You deserve this for what you did for this franchise, Jameis, because you brought us the man who brought us the Super Bowl. And then Byron made sure that he left. And that's
the best thing was after that game, the press conference, like, you better check your sheet. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Hey, I will give him credit. He was always confident. Always.
He was.
Jameis is a perfect example of why stats can be twisted in any direction.
Yeah,
and, I can look at. I didn't watch the games like.
Well, how do you twist? How do you twist? He threw four. I'm
just saying. He did. Yeah, he also has some equally impressive fucking stats.
That's why he's so polarizing. That's why he was so polarizing, and he was so frustrating to watch because you're like, he'd make some unbelievable plays, and then 2-3 series later, he'd make the most just ridiculously stupid plays, and you're like, dude, what are we doing here right now? But I think that's a lot of younger quarterbacks who do that.
He's still top five. He's still top five Bucs quarterback all the time.
Yeah, and Stank, that's actually a great point. Is that you're starting to correlate that to Baker a little bit. The big difference though is Baker will go through periods of the season, where he just starts to struggle for whatever reason, and then figure it out and then play well. Jameis would do that in games, right? Where he's great for a quarter. We're like, oh, we're going to light up the motherfucking Saints. We're going to destroy these guys. And then he'd throw 3 picks and we're losing the game. So it's like Jameis could never find that consistency where Baker is a bit more consistent when, he's not injured and not, trying to do everything himself.
I think that the perfect example, I'm just going to keep talking because hey, I'm going to put my dick on the table.
I'll mute him.
I don't care. You can put your tiny dick on the table.
No, I think the perfect microcosm, and there may be better games, JC, but in my opinion, the perfect Jameis Winston Buccaneer career microcosm was the Rams game at the Coliseum. He was so fucking good, but then he was so bad that he allowed the Rams to come back. It's like, what the 51, what was it, 50-something points? Like, that's
51 points, and we still almost lost that fucking game.
Almost lost. It took a fucking fumbled run back for a touchdown by goddamn Sue.
Sue gave us the 51st points, obviously. So, but I was going to say a massive factor that people don't really take into account with this whole Baker versus Trask thing is that Baker Mayfield is against his back is up against the wall. It's basically his final shot. This is his last chance to be a starting quarterback or prove himself to be a starting quarterback. He's been humbled. He's been humiliated. He's been embarrassed. He wants to write his name. He wants to prove himself. That's a big fucking deal. And he knows that this is it. and he knows that he has to prove himself now. Whereas Kyle Trask, no, like it's not a knock on him. He's not in that same boat. He's not back against the wall. You're not. I don't think you're going to see that dog come out because Baker knows.
Never.
And then when Baker wins the job, he knows he cannot fuck up because then it is absolutely the end of the road. Backup quarterback for the rest of his career. Like that's it. That's a big fucking thing, dude. That's a big motivating factor. Go ahead, Latte.
Yeah.
We had a
Agreed.
big meeting in Sarasota with a friend of ours. You remember that meeting?
Yes.
Beautiful pad. You
Yes.
You remember what somebody who's very well connected said about Trask? You said no dog, no fight, no grit, none of that, those things, right? Those things you need. You need a little fuck you every now and then from
Yeah,
your quarterback.
Yeah, I remember.
You remember what they said or no?
I remember.
Go ahead.
All right, I'm trying not to throw this person on the bus. Basically, in the interviews when Kyle was going from high school to college, and this is back then, so things may have changed. He just there was no dog. That's like there was absolutely no dog in him. It just wasn't like I don't know. how to explain it.
No, Sam,
Yeah,
no, JC,
it's-
they told him they're walking around campus at Florida, right? They're like, yeah, man, this is where you'll play. There's the lockers. There's this. Yeah, you'll be here for 3 years. You can exit as a junior. And his mom turned and Trask turned really quick and said, no.
I didn't want to say all that. I didn't know how much I could say, but go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I'm playing off 4 years.
I'm losing you guys.
You there?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, JC froze.
No, he said he'll coming back.
Oh, okay. Nah, he basically like just cucked himself. Like, I'm just gonna chill. I'm just gonna chill. I don't want to go to the league. Relax.
Well, then his mom basically said, no, Kyle is going to finish.
He's going to finish.
He's going to finish college before he goes to the NFL. And this was in front of important people who are recruiting you to go out there and win games. And his mom basically made him look like a child. And he went along with it as opposed to, maybe he's not trying to be rude to his mom. It's a small story. It's not that big. It's not like, nobody went to his birthday party type of scenario. But
It took note of it, though.
they took note of it. It was something that they thought was important to relate to many other people. And on top of that, the stuff that we hear from the coaches, from the people who are at these practices and other players, that there's just something gravitating towards Baker. He's got charisma. He's obviously been a leader. And I think that's something that plays against Trask because maybe he's not that rah-rah type. Maybe he's more like Marcus Mariota, but those are still factors that go into this decision. That's just how it is. You can't just pick the guy who's supremely talented every time. You also have to pick the guy that others respond to because you need that guy in that huddle to get people to respond to him. You could be supremely talented. We've seen tons of that. Jeff George, one of the most talented throwers of a football probably ever. Guy wasn't necessarily a leader of men. Didn't win jobs.
And I think that the fire that Baker shows on the football field is one of the reasons why he has such a bad rap. I think I think a lot of people look at him as being arrogant and being kind of cocky. And when really all it is he's just trying to fire up his football team and really an enthusiastic guy that he believes in his ability, he believes in his team, and he does everything he can to fire them up on the sideline. Same thing as Jameis used to do.
I used to say he was cocky. I used to say it too. Go ahead, Lon.
People that try to say we should tank for Caleb, and then they're saying no. We don't have to lose ugly. We can just
It's only
lose
this.
barely.
It's only this big out character.
Fuck, we're not losing for anyone. Number one, number two, JC. All these fucks and all these gator fucks, including this major fuck right here, this big ass stank piece of shit who's been pissed off all podcasts. You just look like you're constant.
I really
all
have.
podcasts.
Really haven't.
I caught the way you talked to me. Callie was like, "You're not just gonna let him talk to you like that, are you?"
You've been stewing on that comment.
You gotta cook me. You ain't cooking me, bitch.
You've been stewing on that.
I've been stewing on that. You try to
yeah, you have. That's right.
Hey, the first time, all these fucks, JC, all these assholes, all these fucks, these arrogant, all this bullshit, trash, give trash a shot. All these gator assholes, not you, JC. You're a cool guy. All these gator assholes, the second, Sam, that fucking Baker headbuds red on the sideline with no goddamn helmet, I'm going to rip my fucking shirt off next to fucking Stank. And he's like, Baker, he's going to lose his shit. Mark it down. It's fucking what, July 11th?
You think for a second that I'm going to root against Baker when he's out there. You're high as fuck. I'm just saying I want to see this guy compete. And if Baker beats him out, Baker's my guy.
That's
in
what's
this
happening.
discussion until he loses the job after week 5.
Just tell me you want it, Stank. Tell me you want to see Baker headbutt red. Tell me you want it.
I can't wait. We already know that's going to happen, bro. We already know that it's going to be some serious fucking concussions out on the field before the game even fucking starts.
and to JC's point about people thinking that he's cocky and arrogant, I'm in that group. I thought the same thing about Baker when he was in college, when he came into the NFL. I've always had that persona of him, but like I said, a couple minutes before, he's been taken down a peg. He's been humiliated. He's been embarrassed, and he's eaten his humble pie, and he's a different person. And not only just from his words, other people are saying that about him. Other people are understanding that he sees now, like, this is it. He's understanding the moment that he's in, and obviously the stuff that he said too last week, where he said, like, I appreciate football now. I'm having fun again. When I was with the Rams, that's where it's starting to work, and he's bringing it here. Yeah. It's a different outlook. We didn't hear that from young Baker, and I'm not. I like I said, I'm not a Baker fan, but in this scenario, I can see how it works.
No. And he's not the only one. And he's not the only one with a chip on his shoulder, right? I mean, look what Carlton said this week. Where we're going to wreck some shit. They are they're hearing all these assholes like Colin Cowherd talking shit that we're gonna win 3-4 games. Guys like the one guy in the chat saying that we're gonna tank for Caleb. They hear all that shit, and they know they have talent. They still have the talent on the team to win this division, because this division is shit. And adding Derek Carr to the Saints, I'm gonna tell you guys, and I told Jonah this, I don't think Derek Carr is better than Jameis. I don't. Because, at least Jameis showed the ability to be able to throw for 5,000 yards. At least Jameis showed the ability to throw for 30 touchdowns in a season. Granted, he threw 30 interceptions to go along with it, but, that's why he's not here anymore. But
Derek Carr's done it once in his career. And that's
Derek Carr, is a guy. I mean, the Raiders went, 4-12?
Even an upgrade over Andy Dalton. I think him and Andy are like the same guy.
Yeah,
it's not even necessarily the guy behind center though. It's the offense there. What is it? It doesn't matter who
and
Dennis Allen sucks.
Kamara's going to be suspended. My ankle. Shout out to Salty. My ankle Thomas will be out by week 2. That's a great freaking name.
If he makes it to week 2.
Not going to be the same guy. Even when he's out there, he's not going to be the same guy. And they're not running slant routes. So what is he going to do?
So, Sammer, you said earlier, JC said earlier, we're giving you the keys, don't wreck the car. So they're giving Derek Carr the keys because he can keep it in the lanes, right? He's not going to wreck the car. But it's not a nice car. It's like a fucking Pinto.
And they lost talent on defense. So,
they lost the strength of their defense.
Their secondary is still the strength of that team.
Their secondary is still strong, but they're not going to have any kind of pass rush because Cam Jordan's another year older. And the rest of the front seven can't rush for shit. So
and he's Worf's son. That's confirmed.
Dude, listen, Carr playing and not getting benched plays our favor. Carr playing and getting benched, again, James comes in, plays our favor. Like, it's a win-win scenario and a lose-lose for the Saints. That's what it is. And I don't care what the fuck those dumb fans say. They're not winning. They're not beating the Bucs for a while. I don't care how bad the Bucs get.
This sounds crazy. To Saints fans, and I know they hate them, but I'd be more concerned with Carolina. They added a lot. I mean, not Carolina.
And Atlanta.
Atlanta added a lot, and Drake London's one more year under his belt. And Pitts, if they can just hit him with the fucking ball, Jesus Christ.
Desmond Ridder, though.
I don't believe in Desmond. I know.
High school quarterback playing in the NFL. That's that's going to work out.
The team, they had a lot on defense. I'd be more concerned with them, honestly. Fuck the Saints. Fuck the fucking Saints.
Hey, I said.
Yeah.
I said 13-4. All right. Or sorry, 14-3. And they only lose that third game because they're sitting everybody in week 17. So take it for what it's worth.
I mean, you're not far off from Trisha Worse.
I'll say this. I will say that Baker Mayfield will have a better season than Derek Carr. That's my prediction.
Spicy. I like
definitely better than Kyle Trask. Listen, if Kyle Trask wins the job, he will also have a better season than Derek Carr. That's just how much confidence.
Better than Saints quarterback.
That's how much confidence I have in what Canales is going to do differently for this team with the talent that they have. He's going to utilize it differently. He's going to allow it to just be talent as opposed to just being out there running fucking make-believe routes and doing absolutely jack shit with it. It doesn't matter who that quarterback will be. They will be successful.
Talking about 13, like actually being schemed open for the first
13,
time?
14, 17, 83 is going to get open. I mean, there's going to be dude. Rashad White.
Did you see that prison guard of a tight end we drafted?
I'm telling you, man.
That motherfucker.
There are weapons and talent on this roster. It's not that much different than what it was when we won the Super Bowl. It's changed slightly, but there's still a lot of core pieces. And it blows my mind when they say, "Oh, they're going to win 3 to 4 games." Dude, we have
It's
two.
quite a bit different than the Super Bowl roster.
We have two wide receiver ones.
We don't have
the
AD
massive change, though. The massive change is the offensive line. And that's a big question mark. Big question mark. What will Tristan be? All the stuff that we talked about multiple times in this offseason. So we'll see how that plays out.
Can Canales call plays? We know he's an enthusiastic coach. We know he has a good scheme that he's bringing to Tampa. Can he call plays when he needs to be able to dial up a play that's going to help us win a game? That's the
that
big
live
question.
game of chess. Yeah.
And then when he starts off well and the teams adjust to him, does he have that second, that third, that fourth look? Does it seem
Exactly.
But we can all agree defense is going to keep this team in every single game. They are going to be a top, I think, 7 and up.
Top 5, I think.
Top 7 type defense. A lot of guys coming back.
I think top 5 if Cansey can bring the rush that I think he can bring. I don't expect him to have like 10 sacks or anything. He's not going to be Santana Dobson.
Get the pressures.
But he's going to get the pressures, feed it to JTS. And,
they don't even know who that is. I'll tell you. I mean,
come on, dude.
If he can just push the pocket to Shaq and to JTS and to the young 6th-round pick guy, was it Rodriguez? I don't remember his name, but anyway, I'm getting old, guys. Sorry, but if Cansey can push the pocket, I think that we can definitely have a top 5 defense. Because I think the secondary is going to be strong, and I assume, and that's assuming Devin doesn't be an asshole and actually shows up and plays hard.
I think he will.
There you go, Sammer. He keeps asking where in the chat. I mean, I've seen it a couple times, but there you go, Big Al. If we don't give K2 the chance, just tank for Caleb. They just want to give.
They're giving him a chance to win the job. That is all any player can ask for. That's all they can ask for.
Yep.
And that's all any player deserves, honestly. It's just how it works. Unless you're Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, you don't just get handed a job. It's not how it works.
Right.
And no coach can do that. It's their fucking ass on the line. And all the idiots who are saying we're going to tank for Caleb, that would mean that Todd Bowles willingly signed up to get fired, that they wasted money on Jamel Dean. They wasted money on every free agent move they made this past offseason. They wasted Levante David's. Like, they're not signing Levante David and be like, oh, by the way, we're going to lose every possible fucking game to get a quarterback that you're not going to be able to
you might not play with next year.
That you're not going to play with, yeah.
Yeah, and in 5 years when you're not here, your sacrifice will be remembered. Go fuck off. I mean, come on. That's not fucking happening. That's just not how it works. Now.
And realistically, we just don't have the talent. We have too much talent to collapse for Caleb or whatever the hell.
We can accidentally win 5 games. No joke.
Yeah.
I mean, accidentally.
JC, I'll be careful how I say it because I don't give a fuck. I'll say it, but I know you won't agree, and I'll co-sign that you won't agree. Tom fucking sucked last year. Really fucking bad. Okay,
yeah.
We won 9 games on the back of the fucking defense alone. Shaq came on this very show and said, like, we were fucking exhausted some games, bro. It was like 3 and out, go back out, 3 and out. They were playing like 90 plays.
Yeah.
They were still playing in spurts at an elite level with all the injuries they had. This defense is going to be fucking menacing this year. With a run game?
I won't say Tom sucked. I will say Tom was distracted.
Whatever.
Fair.
Doesn't matter. Whatever it
was.
The offense was broken, and they coasted because the division sucked, so they weren't willing to make any kind of drastic change.
They thought they could turn a flip in the playoffs.
And they were right. They were right. That's exactly what happened. They were able to coast into the playoffs, and unfortunately,
they couldn't flip the switch.
The other way to look at the first half of a lot of the games. The Bucs were going out there 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Yeah. Forcing teams to punt the ball, and our team would come out there and punt the ball right back. You could only ask these guys to do so much. And when we had Donnie on so many times last season, we were like, you played through a very similar situation when Trent Dilfer was here. And he kept, trying to make excuses, but you could see he was like, it's very frustrating going out there, like working your ass off, and eventually you're gonna break. There's nothing you can do if you give that team so many opportunities. All
right, I'm trying to fuck, bro.
I get it. I'm trying to close. JC, awesome appearance, man. That was some good shit.
Thank you, guys.
I know Stank's feelings are hurt. Before we go, though, I'm wearing green.
Hurt.
All right, I'm wearing green. I'm wearing green. And just to remind myself and not forget to tell you guys about the Green Bay Invasion, Loose Cannon's travel crew. All right, we started this 2 years ago. We make unbelievable memories on the road. We take you to a Bucs away game in VIP style. We literally take care of every aspect of your trip except for airfare. This year we're going to go to Lambeau Field, the frozen tundra. The only way to cross that stadium off your bucket list.
The only way to fucking do it
is in the fucking snow, in the cold. Your
Barefoot.
your cojones all crawled up into your gut because it's that fucking cold. 15 degrees maybe if we're lucky, right? We're taking care of 4-star VIP hotel experience. The same hotel that the team will be staying at, just so you know. You're going to get stuck in an elevator with Vita Vea.
Whoa. Did you just say the same hotel as the team?
Yeah, you're going to get stuck in an elevator
I'm already
with Vita
staying
Vea.
in Jason Light's room. Me and him.
So you're saying that Stank can butter Baker's bagel in the morning?
Absolutely. I mean, Jason, me and
Get him
Jason are going to be
coffee.
downstairs in the bar.
and he needs to be, the small spoon, and I can big spoon him and keep him warm.
I mean, it's definitely something you don't usually do at home, but yeah, sure, whatever. Get stuck in an elevator.
That's my wife. But
You could have a drink. You could run into Jason at the bar downstairs.
Stank,
Who knows?
Stank. Is it true that Old School's coming with us? The godfather of Buccaneer podcasting?
Yeah.
It's true.
I
And
believe he said
Is
he
Old
was.
School going to keep us warm?
Old School's gonna keep us warm. Old School knows that town. He's like the fucking godfather. Wherever we walk in, they're gonna know him. They're gonna know his name. They're gonna shout it out. Like he's fucking royalty in Green Bay. In a weird, like a Bucs fan. That's Old School.
We have had such a fucking amazing response to this show, or to this package. And listen, that's not even that's the hotel. Saturday night, VIP party, and last year we partied with Jason Light, Spy Tech was there, Warren Sapp. People were fucking crying. We had drinks, wings. We hung out with these three guys for the entirety of those 2.5 to 3 hours that night. All right, that's Saturday night. And if you buy a 3-person or a 3-night package, that means you also get to enjoy a Saturday morning Lambeau Field personal tour with the Loose Cannons crew. All right, I mean what? And it's
Get to go
free.
on the field.
It's free. That's a legendary.
So you're saying
Moment.
you're gonna witness Stank put his bare foot on the frozen tundra
On the frozen tundra.
on the field.
Wow.
On the frozen tundra. All right.
Yeah.
Then we get to Sunday morning. We're busting your asses from the hotel to a tailgate right across the street from the fucking Lambeau Field, from the stadium. You're partying. You're having Lambeau Green Bay special beer that's only available in the winter in Wisconsin. All right.
Betcha.
All you can eat.
You betcha.
Cheese curds,
All you can drink. I mean, and then
cheese curds, brats.
and we're doing that for 3 hours. Then we're going to walk across the street, and you're going to enjoy lower level tickets in Lambeau Field to watch your Bucs beat the living shit out of that Love character who thinks he could play
Jordan
quarterback for
Love.
the Green Bay Packers. I mean, come on. This is
Jordan.
all included for as little as like $565 a person. It's crazy.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. And listen,
Sammer.
lots of you've been there. Stank, you've been there. JC, you have not. But I will say,
I have
our
not.
fans, the people who have traveled with us,
Oh, okay. I thought you
have
meant
said
something
multiple times that they have made friendships for life from these experiences. So,
Oh, dude, we're in the group text message. These people, bro.
family, dude.
It literally becomes a little traveling family. We keep building on it. I said little family, right? Sammer, you said the response has been insane. 1 week of promotion, and we're almost at 40 fucking people, not including us.
Not including us. It's going to be an amazing fucking party. And you guys know us. You guys have seen the photos. We throw a fucking hell of an experience. It comes with a swag bag. I mean, who knows? I think there's a scarf and a beanie set that's going out to everybody who joins us. It's going to be unbelievable. It's unmatched. It's completely different than anything you guys are ever going to experience on the road. It's the only way to do it on the road. Only way.
I also want to point out, we don't do corny shit, right? Like get a special guest and they're behind a rope. Yeah, like, hey, he was there, but you couldn't talk to him. No, people were fucking drinking beers with fucking Jason Light. People were taking shots. Like, this is some cool shit.
I
Like,
helped him.
You want to
dip
ask
his
Sapp
wing
what he
in
told
blue
Brett
cheese.
Favre when he fucking didn't let he'll tell you. He'll tell you.
Yeah, best way to check it out.
You wanna
Loose
know?
Cannons. Go ahead.
With Jason, shut the fuck up, man. I'm painting a picture here, goddammit.
I thought you were
wanna
done.
ask Jason Light?
You
wanna
paused.
ask Light
You
why
paused too
he
long.
drafted OJ Howard instead of Dalvin Cook. You can do no, you can't do that.
Don't do that. I'll
But
fucking
no,
kill you.
it was really fucking cool. It's all access. You literally just fucking kicking it, just having a good
You
time.
never know what's gonna
Jason
happen.
Light, Spy Takes fucking nuts.
You never know who's going to show up. You could be doing illegal drugs with like a former Bucs player in a parking lot somewhere. You never know
You could.
what's going to happen.
Hey,
It's probably not going to happen, but I mean,
you could smoke a joint with a Hall of Fame.
You
Player.
could.
I
You
don't know.
could.
I
You
don't
could.
know.
Allegedly.
I mean,
You could.
allegedly,
I don't know.
You can enjoy some vitamins. I'm just saying,
Good.
anything
Allegedly.
can happen. Absolutely agree. Check it out, loosecannonstravel.com, or if it's easier to remember, bucksawaygames.com. If you want to pay in payments, we have payment plans available directly on the site. If you need your package customized because you already got game tickets and you didn't wait, or if you already got a hotel and you don't need ours, we can customize the package any way you need for you to be a part of the group. Enjoy this, meet other Bucs fans on the road. It's seriously, no joke, it's an unbelievable experience. I never went on a road game ever before we started this, and there's like no way I could do this
I popped my cherry with Sammer.
any
Fucking
other
awesome.
way. There's just no way. And I'm bougie, so you know the hotel's gonna be nice. I don't know if this. I don't know if everyone's rooms
What's the
will
thread
have
count on
gold.
the sheets?
Oh, dude, listen, that's one of the requirements, right? That I go through that kind of detail just for you guys, not just for me, but for you guys. And yeah, maybe my room's the only one that has a bidet,
A bidet.
but I guarantee you, all of yours will have a shower and a toilet. I promise you that, right? loosecannonstravel.com. Seriously, check it out. We'd love for you guys to party with us. JC, you should
40
totally be
fucking
coming with us,
people.
man.
That's
Come on.
insane, bro. 40
Yep.
fucking people. Let's go.
May the force be with you, JC.
Yeah,
don't know
sounds
what that
amazing,
means.
guys. Thank you.
All right. If you haven't hit the like button, hit it, and hit the subscribe button if you're new. Go Bucs.
Go Bucks.